What's going on, guys? It's your man Bacon Sweats here to tell you about Meet the Streamer. I was able to have my man Smeagol777 on this podcast. He is a Twitch streamer as well as an amazing dude where we talked about community as well as some of the tech that kind of goes into streaming. Now that being said, during the live shoot, we had some technical difficulties where I had to shoot it, not live. This is the only podcast that I've done for Meet the Streamer that isn't live. If you guys do want to follow my man Smeagol777, which I would hope that you guys do, all you have to do is see the description below. His Twitch handle will be there. I'll also put it on the screen as well right now. And then if you guys want to see it live, I do it every Sunday on my Twitch, which I'll also put the link up there as well. That being said, I'm going to stop bothering you guys and let you guys get to the podcast. You guys have a wonderful day. What's up, everybody? And welcome to episode 10 of Meet the Streamer with my good friend Smeagol777. How are you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Well, I am
Nice.
I'm very happy that you're on because you are definitely one of the first people that I met on the platform after I started streaming. And you're I think that's one of the things I was saying before we got on here is that one of the things that I appreciate about your stream so much, first off, you're a really humble and kind dude. So that's like, it's amazing coming on your stream because you definitely take the time for everybody that comes into your stream. And then your quality of your stream is also fantastic. So
I appreciate that. Yeah.
anytime, man. So I just, wanted to like kind of go over those things and, kind of talk about why you got into streaming. And my first question to you is, where does the name come from? Like, where did where did that handle come from? Just out of curiosity.
Well, the Smeagol part, because there's two parts to it. There's Smeagol, then there's the 3 7s.
Mm-hmm.
So in high school, I had a best friend. His name was Josh. Lord of the Rings had just come out, so we went and saw it, and then like the next week at lunch, we were eating together, and he's like, you know who you remind me of? And I'm like, oh gosh. So he's like, you kind of remind me of Smeagol. You're pretty Smeagol-y, and I'm like, how is that even a thing?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, just the way you eat, like
What?
you eat the fish, and I was like, what? I'm like, all right, dude. So from then on, he started calling me that at school, and then I went over to his house for the first time, and he has a brother and a sister, and they're like, oh, is that Smeagol? And I'm like, what? So then, so that's how I introduced myself to everybody.
Holy crap.
It kind of stuck with me, so.
That's awesome. It's kind of
if they want to know the real name, obviously, I tell them it's Ian, but yeah.
But like for now, is that something that has always been is that always something that you've kind of used in different gamer tags and stuff like that, or was that just something that you use for Twitch?
Yeah, it's for the most part, I've started using that a couple years ago. Because I've had different handles for Xbox and PS4, but once I started streaming, I made the full transition over. So the last 3 years, yeah. And
then where do the 7s come from?
So the 3 7s is pretty biblical. Like 7 is a pretty biblical number. I'm a Christian, so it only made sense. Now I don't know why I chose 3, but yeah, it's kind of the thing. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And when did you officially like start streaming? Because your platform, like I said, like the quality of your stream is like it seems like you've ironed out a lot of the wrinkles of your tech, at least when it comes to
that's only happened just before like this whole COVID pandemic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like it was pretty rough.
Was it?
Yeah. As far as audio goes, but I'd say I think it was November 14th, 2017 was my first stream on Twitch. But I've had experience on YouTube. I used to upload Madden videos, and the only way I could do it at the time was using the Share Factory before they added the streaming feature.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'd live stream it and then do it that way.
Well, and I do have your YouTube as well as some of your other handles are gonna pop up within the feed on a timer.
And
super
cringy. Just to be warned, if you go check it out.
And I think that's I mean mine is too. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna start. YouTube's kind of a platform that I'm gonna start branching out to. Coming up, especially with these podcasts and stuff like that, and releasing it on there. My first video, man, it's still up there, and it is atrocious. It is atrocious. I thought I was the funniest guy in the world like 6 months ago, right? I was playing a lot of Apex at the time. Like I started streaming. When I started streaming Apex and Call of Duty, and I was like, man. You know, it's going to be hilarious making a video about how trash I am playing Octane. So I built this video about how I was messing up jump pads and stuff like that. And I look back at it now and I listen to the audio quality and everything like that. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? But I leave it up there as a reminder to myself, like, oh, you can do better than this now. It's okay. You can do better.
Right.
But why did you decide that you wanted to start streaming, like outside of YouTube and stuff like that? Like, what was your push and motivation for it?
Well, I've always been like a extroverted person. Like in high school, I would get dared to, hey, go up to that person and just start a conversation. And I always felt comfortable with it. So one day when I was streaming Madden, somebody popped in because it's a live stream. So they popped in and my text to speech went off. And I was like, what the heck? Somebody's watching me? And then, so that continued, and I was like, "Wow, this is pretty sweet." And then when Fortnite released on PS4, October, whenever it was, 2017, I streamed it, and I had like 10 viewers, and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So, and then I'm like, "Okay, well, let's see, like, what is the industry standard for streaming?" So I did some research, found out it was Twitch. The first streamer I watched was Dr. Disrespect, and his quality was incredible even 3 years ago.
Yeah, unbelievable. Insane is the word for that man's quality for everything.
Yeah, just some of his transitions and his like
green screen work and everything like that.
Insane. So I was like, well, he looks like he's having fun. And like the biggest thing for me is if I'm gaming, I want to be able to share it and save it somewhere. Like if I hit like an epic snipe or something, I want to be able to save it. So that was the biggest push for me. Just meeting new people, having fun, and just seeing like his setup and stuff. I was like, wow, what if I could get to that one day?
Yeah, which like now I would say your video and your audio quality, I mean, it's very professional. I mean, for everybody who's here, like you can for people who stream, like I have an ear for it and a kind of an eye for it to see like frame rate as well as like bit rate and now like audio too, because I'm so focused, especially on these podcasts. I do the audio segments of everything, like, and I have to like hear to be able to tweak, and it's unbelievable, man. I'm being honest. It's crazy, and you now have a new setup as well. You almost have a new studio, right? That's what I saw. That saw that you're in a new room compared to the first day that I had met you.
Yeah, I was in my living room of my apartment. I've been in like 20 different areas, both of my house, and then after I sold it, I moved in here, and then now I'm in my bedroom.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit more open space for VR stuff. So that's kind of the main reason why I moved over.
And so you didn't, I mean, other than the YouTube, you kind of stuck to Twitch the whole time that you found out that this standard was Twitch, and then you kind of stayed on Twitch, or did you branch out to like Mixer and stuff like that when it was out?
I do have a Mixer account. Rest in peace, by the way.
R.I.P. Yeah.
And I kind of tested the waters there with like a Madden stream here and there, and I was pulling more numbers on
Twitch.
Twitch and YouTube, yeah. But,
Yeah.
And then Restream came out. Recently I started testing Facebook just
Mm-hmm.
randomly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it feels weird. I don't know. I can't really explain it.
You know what it
It's
is?
like,
Is I feel, and I've kind of talked about it on my own stream. Facebook feels weird because it is weird, because there's the possibility. Well, not only is it a social media platform, but it's also a platform where, man, I don't like saying it, but that social media platform in particular is very scummy, I feel like, and you don't know kind of what you're getting when you're streaming on there. I feel like you don't really know what's going on. Like,
right.
are there filler viewers? Which I think that there is. You know what I mean? There's no way that every time somebody on my feed on Facebook has 40 to 100 people watching them. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really make quite sense to me, especially like for instance, like on Twitch, if you're watching somebody who has 60 people, but you can kind of tell that they have paid viewers, or they have like the bots that are in there and like nobody's talking. I'm like, that tends to be a fair sign that maybe something fishy is going on.
Right.
Which I could be wrong. You know what I mean? I could be wrong in saying that, and Facebook could be doing fantastic, but I don't think that that's a platform I'll be on anytime soon.
Yeah.
Especially like, I feel like, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like if there's any platform that will succeed in live streaming, I feel like would be like an Instagram, which is still part of Facebook's umbrella, but because it's so picture and video oriented, I feel like that would be they have the Instagram lives, but that's the only social media platform that I can think of that would actually be good and like kind of fit the niche of that. But I doubt that they would put the time and the money to do that.
Yeah, same here.
But what so going into that, what was your first game that you were playing that like you said, like Fortnite and stuff like that? How much fun did you have when Fortnite first came out and like streaming it?
Well, I've seen the doc play PUBG for forever before I started, so that was kind of just a filler to get used to the whole battle royale thing before PUBG released on console.
Yep.
Because back then I didn't even have a gaming PC 3 years ago.
Yeah,
so
I feel that.
I was streaming straight from Xbox One. So yeah,
and which is a huge, for people who are listening to this, like there's a huge difference between being on your Xbox or PlayStation and pressing live and actually like setting up OBS and stuff like that. It's a completely different beast, because I don't know. I feel like when I was on Xbox and I was doing that and I was hitting the live to have the boys watch, you know what I mean? If I was doing something or clutching up or something like that.
Yeah.
Versus like now, like getting on, like I feel like there's so many things that can go wrong, and the umbrella of your stream fucking up is huge.
It's massive. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because for the longest time I've had audio issues. That was my biggest thing. Like, it's not a Smeagol stream if there's no audio issues. You know? Like either I'm too quiet or the game is too loud, and I'm like, I literally can't change it because I'm on Xbox. I am so sorry. I was using like crappy Turtle Beaches back then too, so everybody's like, you're really like quiet or you're super like staticky, and I'm like, sorry, dude.
Yeah, nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, make a name here. So
and what I mean, I guess that's like a huge thing for me as well, is like I have I've been audio was something that I definitely like when I first started my setup, like, and when I went and bought a PC, because I didn't buy a PC until 6 months ago. And I decided to buy a PC just for streaming, and I've never had the capability of doing that. So when I like bought the PC and stuff like that, the mic that I chose was a $20 mic that I had to like put the most filters I've ever put on anything on to like get it. And then I finally now have a microphone where I mean, I have a mixer now, so I have an XLR mic and everything, which makes life so much easier. But I just didn't like the way my voice sounded. Like when you have a microphone that the microphone isn't that great, like the pitch between your high and your lows, like is either it's really really high and then you change it and it's too low or too quiet, kind of like what you said, and then OBS doesn't help you. You know what I mean? Like trying to figure that out. There's the tutorial videos that they give you that you go online. You're like, oh, okay, I got to figure out what this is, and then you go on there and it's very like niche problems that were their problems that they were able to fix, but then they can't really help your problems. You know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of the issues. That's why I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like streaming is the biggest trial and error job, period.
I totally agree. Like especially more so when you get into like the mixer setup, like you have an XLR mic with any sort of audio mixer. Personally, I use the Go XLR Mini, and there isn't too many options, but I was still feeling overwhelmed because I have no audio experience at all. So I have to resort to watching like Alpha Gaming or just setup videos, like because the idea of compression or different hertzes.
Yeah.
As far as like tones in your voice go, I'm like completely lost. So
I am. See, like even now I'm having issues because my bit rate is now trash again. So like even now, like I'm recording part of it, and I'll just snip it and say we're back, and I'll try to snip everything together and say and do everything, and then I'll post it in chat. But yeah, so I'm guessing it's got to be something within my PC. It's an issue that I've been kind of experiencing the last couple days, and I think it's also my internet as well. And they're supposed to be here on Wednesday, to fix it, because like I don't. That's like my biggest pet peeve. With my stream at least. Other people, like I understand because there's a lot that's out of their control. But with my stream, if the quality isn't what I expect out of it, then I get really bent out of shape about it.
Same, because you're spending, depending on the setup, you're spending thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
And you're like, I pay literally for this not to happen.
Yep. And it's
ridiculous.
It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. And honestly, like, I love, just having the quality and everything like that, like up to par. I feel like a lot of people, they also, they stick, I don't want to say they stick around for the quality, but if the quality's good, it's more entertaining to them, even if you're still trying to figure stuff out. So if your show or your stream tends to like be on point and look good, there's more likely that those people are going to kind of hang around and stay. And I think that that's like a big contributor to how people look at each other's streams and stuff like that. That's kind of one of the things that I didn't really understand at first, and I was just kind of winging it. Like I did I don't know how when you went to your gaming PC and stuff like that, how much research did you do on OBS and stuff like that before you started streaming?
Oh, it was a week.
A week?
Yeah. Like I'd be sitting at work and I'm like watching YouTube videos, how to set it up, what to do for different transitions and stuff. So it was quite a bit.
And did you go like the standard OBS route, or did you go to like Streamlabs or Stream Elements like right off bat?
I started with OBS Studio, like the vanilla or base, whatever. And then I tried the Streamlabs and I'm like, this is too weird for me. I can't do it. Even though it's really not, but
well,
it a little bit different. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to stick with OBS.
Yeah, the Streamlabs is a weird one because it's basically the same program, except there's more, like the vanilla OBS, there's not many bugs that can happen because it's very vanilla. It's very like, it
does what it's supposed to do.
It does what it's supposed to do, even if it takes you a couple more steps than the other platforms. I use Streamlabs because of my transitions.
Oh, okay.
But I'm starting to venture back into vanilla. And the reason why I'm saying that is because like vanilla to me, that's what I started on first, and then I ventured out because I wanted to see if I liked everything. But I have the most issues with Streamlabs than I've ever experienced. Like in the last month, they did like a couple of updates, and the last month has just been horrendous.
Wow.
Yeah, between like just the program not working, or for instance, like Elgato and Streamlabs do not like each other at all. They do not. They don't like to communicate. It's just not a thing.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. So sometimes I have to turn. Yeah. Sometimes I have to turn it off. Like sometimes I have to turn my PC off to get the Elgato to finally talk to Streamlabs, to have sound and stuff like that. So
yeah, I have audio because I stream PS4 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Once in a while, like all my UFC stuff has been PS4 and then Fall Guys or whatever. So I always have audio issues with Elgato and Streamlabs. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. Now you stream, and it's something that I appreciate. You stream the games that you want to stream, or that you just want to play, which is a big I remember one of my favorite things was I think I rated you after I did something, and you were playing Drug Simulator, I think, or Drug Dealer Simulator.
Yeah, Drug Dealer Simulator. Yeah.
And I remember doing that, and I was like, man, this is so fucking niche, but it's fucking hilarious. Like, and it was a game that I didn't even know existed. You know what I mean? And some of the GTA stuff that I stumbled upon you playing, and sometimes you're playing like Madden, or like today you started your stream, rip your controller, but for Guitar Hero.
Yeah. And
I appreciate that a lot, because you play the games that you enjoy, and you're not really just playing games that just to get views. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and was that something that you had to learn, or no?
No, because I was told from the get-go, through my research, don't play a game that everybody plays on Twitch. You'll never grow, you'll never get viewers, you'll never get followers.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be so far down the list. I've always had the mindset of being a variety streamer. Like, I'm going to play what I want when I'm playing. If I'm gaming, I'm going to stream. So, I mean, there have been times where if a new game comes out and I see there's a lot of viewership, I jump on it. Like with Fall Guys, I got some viewers and followers from that.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, it's like if I'm going to play Call of Duty tonight, because that's what me and my group are doing. Other times it's Ark, Drug Dealer Simulator. Like, I'm whatever people want to see, whatever I want to play, I just play.
Yeah.
So,
which I think that's huge. And enjoying that. That's something that. So I ventured out, which is very different. You know what I mean? Like, I played FPSs my whole life, and that's all I played.
Yeah.
Like, I literally only played Call of Duty, like Apex, coming from Destiny, which now I stream all the time again. Playing those things, but I had never played like DayZ before. That was like, playing something like that was not even in my wheelhouse. Playing Paladins was not in my wheelhouse. Like, I was just trying everything, but it kind of gave me, like, I know what I like now. You know what I mean? Versus before, I was just playing things because, I played FPSs because I'm stupid competitive, which is why, like, I can't really play standard FPSs anymore because I can't pay attention to my chat.
Right.
Because I get lost in the sauce. I can admit that. I get lost in the sauce, and it's a thick sauce. It's not like, watered down sauce. So, is there, since you've been on Twitch, and how would you say your experience has been? Just for people that are deciding on going, if they decide to go the Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch route, like, has your experience with Twitch been like the best that everything that you'd hope for going to Twitch?
Yeah, and then it's exceeded it. Like I've met people that live in other states, other countries. It's really good for like making new friends. Like I'm gonna call it like my mod Henny. He came in before the start of like COVID pandemic or whatever. So 5 months ago, something like that. And he's been in like every single stream since then, and he's now a mod. So
yeah,
and he just did his watch time earlier. I think it's like 30.
it's like a month and 14 hours.
Yeah, something like that. So I'm like, in the 5 months you've been following me, you have watched me for enough time to fill up 1 month.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, what?
It's crazy,
So
isn't it?
I always refer to him as the best mod this side of the Mississippi in my chat. So he's definitely just stuff like that. Like you get your regulars and stuff, and it's cool to see. So it's definitely exceeded what I set out to do, and we're still growing. We're not super big. We're not super small. We're like shooting upwards, you know. So.
Yeah, which is huge. Which you had a tweet where you were thanking everybody about, you know, because you kind of see like it can possibly be a thing for you to like do it as a living, and like you kind of, I think that at the high points of like your community being fantastic, that's, I mean, it kind of hits you that it could be possible that you could do it full time.
Definitely, yeah. And then on the other hand, it could go away just like that.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Like tomorrow, I could have no viewers forever. So
yeah,
it's definitely humbling, and is like I feel super blessed. Like where the channel is now, as opposed to 2.5 years ago before I was affiliated or whatever. So
yeah, and like I said, like I find you really entertaining, and you know, you're just yourself, which I feel like a lot of people, you know, I have a lot of people, which you probably have a lot of people too, come into your stream and ask, like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like I'm starting to stream, and when I get that question all the time, and my biggest advice to people is just be yourself on stream. You know what I mean? And because I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, but I see streamers now that I interact with so many streamers now that it's kind of insane. And like you can tell when I like pop into somebody else's stream because somebody like tells me about them, you can tell if they're genuine like 30 seconds in.
Yeah.
And it's very off-putting when you can tell when that person isn't being genuine. You know what I mean? Like if it's like an act. Now, somebody like Dr. Disrespect, I feel like that's different because he's playing a character.
Yeah.
You know, and there's not many people out there, but I feel like it's because the production is not. Nobody's gonna be spending $15,000 to $20,000 right off the bat to have the production that he has. I mean.
Exactly.
It's crazy, and not everybody can do it. He's got a full staff and stuff like that. I mean, that would be the goal, you know. I would love that, to be able to have something like that, like where you have people that are there helping your stream, and you can just focus on the entertainment portion of it, not the technical side of things. But I mean, in the long run, I mean, it's something that I think everybody would like to have. But in the beginning, I feel like you have to kind of be yourself, which people don't realize, but he was himself as well before he decided to do the whole persona thing. And then he ramped it up.
It just took off.
It's
been insane.
Yeah. watching that man kind of shoot through the stars is, you know, I mean, it's inspiring for a lot of people. I mean, it's scary for a lot of people because of his ban and stuff like that. But I feel like his ban, like, they haven't even really still announced exactly why they banned him. And he has no, you know, he's said it publicly, and his lawyers have said publicly that he doesn't even know, you know, like, why he was ripped off the platform like he was. Which is kind of scary, you know, for people. And, you know, it's not something that I've really thought about. I mean, for instance, like, I'm a small streamer, you know, I'm not really worried about Twitch ripping me off the platform. I'm not big enough for them to try and cancel my plat, you know. But it is something that is, I mean, is it something in the back of your mind about terms of services always changing and stuff like that?
Oh,
with
always,
Twitch. Is there like anything that Twitch has done recently that you're just like, why? Like, why are you doing that?
Um, not really recently, but it's always been like their algorithm for people um being discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know there's a search and you can filter it and everything, but not everybody's gonna filter it. Like
Yeah.
there's thousands of streamers on Fortnite and Call of Duty at any given time, and it's viewer based, like concurrent viewer based.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, like the default, I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
you can't set it up to have a default of like time spent streaming this day or time spent on the platform, like when your account was made, or
Yeah.
followers or viewers, like all time channel views. Off the bat, like you have to go into the filter settings and you can do it that way. But yeah, I mean it's just, but that comes with it being a kind of oversaturated platform.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
and being as big as Twitch now
Yeah.
is, so yeah, it's just you roll with the punches, I guess. But,
Yeah. It's it's one of those things, and I feel like their algorithm has gotten better for smaller platforms. I mean, for instance,
yeah,
like
with the recommended stuff, like if you're watching a
Mhm.
video, they'll recommend like streamed videos or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that fall under the same platform, I mean, or
Which
the same game.
that's kind of crazy to me because, you know, I'm starting to see that I am getting more followers. Like I'm getting followers from me being on, but I get a lot of followers. Like sometimes I'll get onto my channel, I'm like, what the fuck? Like that's 3 people. That's 3 people I didn't have yesterday. What happened?
Yeah.
And like I don't even know where those people come from. And you know, which I've seen in the last 6 months, I feel like, you know, because I've even asked people where they came from or if they were just looking at that game and stumbled upon it. And in the last 6 months, I feel like more and more people are telling me that they're either coming from recommended on the left side of their browser, you know what I mean, or they just happen to stumble upon the channel. You know, which is huge because I felt like 6 months ago that wasn't something that was even happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I think it's something that Twitch is kind of fine tuned, but YouTube's also kind of doing the same thing. And YouTube's algorithms changed so much in the last 2 years on how they put people's videos out based on more on like how much they're scheduling and how often people are posting, and they'll throw, if you're posting like relatively regular and they throw your video out and it starts to grab traction, then they'll start throwing more videos out to people and recommending them, which was not always the case. YouTube used to be kind of the platform where you were kind of screwed if somebody didn't stumble upon your videos or your platform. You know. So what do you have a favorite game of all time? Like that no matter what, like that you think back to now that you could continue going back to, or the game that kind of like stuck with you the most?
I do. It's without a question. I have a specific save file on this game. I play Christmas Day every single year.
Christmas Day?
I don't know why that started, but I was sitting grade school, I was sitting in my room one day and I'm like, it's Christmas morning. I'm like, I'm going to play Final Fantasy 7 right now. And then recently, because I still have my original PlayStation 1 with that original memory card, original Final Fantasy disc, Final Fantasy 7, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And I still fire it up every Christmas Day and I play that save file with like, I've ran the timer all the way up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's insane. So yeah, that is, and then I have the logo tattooed on my shin. So.
Oh, do you really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's that I've heard a lot of people that like Final Fantasy 7 is like, I don't want to say that. I feel like for most people that's like the best Final Fantasy that has come out for a lot of people. They've talked about it. And then did you play the remaster when it came out?
Oh yeah. We spent a good 4 days on that, 12-hour streams each time, I think.
Jesus.
Like yeah,
holy crap.
We beat it within like 4 days.
God damn.
So I actually, like, I was streaming the day that I was supposed to get the pre-order or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they called me like 2 hours before. No, that was 4 hours before it was supposed to drop. They're like, hey, it's ready if you want to come and get it. So I legit left stream running, and I left. I grabbed it, got some Taco Bell, because PS4 takes forever to load games.
Yeah.
So then we just sat, and I was like, guys, I'm shaking. So yeah, that was definitely an experience. It was incredible. So
so a lot of people, they're probably gonna like throw stuff at their either radio or monitor or at their phone. My favorite Final Fantasy is actually 10.
It's also a good one.
It's a great one, and I don't know, like, I feel like that story it's probably my favorite story in video games of all time.
Yeah.
And I think at the time the cutscenes were, which they always are, you know what I mean? Like, Square does crazy stuff. Like, their cutscenes are like movies, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, they've always been like that. And that for some reason that game just, even now, like most of the games that I play, like the story, there's no story that comes to the equivalent of that one. And just how everything's streamlined and everything like that. I played a little bit of 7, but I didn't play much of it because it kind of came out a little bit before my time. So right. I kind of missed 7 and went straight to 10. And that was
good,
like,
though.
Yeah, 10 was my first, that was like my first one. And that was PS2 days. Yep. I played that one.
Well, 10 was so revolutionary because that was the first one with actual like voice acted characters.
Yep, yeah.
The PS2 allowed them to do, like you said, have like cinematics that were movie quality.
Yeah, which
like when I fired it up and I saw that opening blitzball sequence where Titus is in the pot or whatever and he's just laying there. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yep. It's crazy, man. Yeah, yeah, that scene, and that's one of the, it's that scene, and later on, Titus they're basically like in an underwater cave, and there's a scene where that whole scene that's there in that cave is just the colors being so vibrant, like the fact that the characters themselves, right, they're coming out of the water, and there's actual water on their face. Yeah, and like it was just like, what is going on? You know? and it was done correctly. It wasn't like NBA Live 2008 where they tried to add sweat to the characters and it just looked like fuzzy pixels. Yeah. Kind of looked like the characters were melting. It didn't really look like sweat. But yeah, so that's what. And is there any games coming up that you look forward to streaming? Or is there any, like, your community's, like you should stream this?
I get recommended games sometimes. But as far as games coming up, I don't... Well, obviously the new Call of Duty is one.
Yeah. Which...
Like, outside of that, I don't really know.
Yeah, the new Call of Duty I'm kind of skeptical of. I probably am only buying it just for zombies. I think that's probably that my purchase will just be to play that. This last one kind of left a sour taste in my mouth when it came to the multiplayer.
Oh, the Modern Warfare?
Oh yeah. It was too much.
It's a little bit different.
The reason why it's different is I felt like the kill times were so quick and the maps were not the best. They came out like Warzone was fantastic until the cheaters happened and then I left. And it's still something that they've never fixed and they will never fix it because they don't have to. Like the new game's coming out pretty soon, so they would rather, and this is just my idea of it, they would rather just build a more secure platform for the next game than work on the game that they have now. And that's just Activision in general. That's just, I already know that's kind of their mindset.
Right.
You know, because I mean, we dealt with the same thing for Destiny. And like that was, Activision is not my favorite. They're not my favorite people. They make decisions that I just shake my head a lot of the time.
Yep.
But, and, you know, I still respect them because the games that they put out, like Modern Warfare, I mean, there was a couple
like even gunfight coming out, that was like I played that before Warzone came out because I just didn't like the regular multiplayer, and that was the 2-on-2 that
Yeah.
you played. That I could play that all day still, but that's just because it's round based and it's gun skill and messing around versus running around. I felt like this game introduced so many campers. Like the camping in this game is as bad as Modern Warfare 3, and that's kind of why
control.
it was. It was just too much. Like I couldn't handle it. And spawn trapping, that was the other thing. Like I don't know what games. It's just FPSs. They just don't. I don't know if they just don't know how to set up their spawns and stuff like that, and they're just being lazy and setting them up on one side of the map and the other side of the map. But it's atrocious, man. It's bad, and that game kind of shows it. Halo 2, the newer Halo that came out, 5 spawn points are, and their weapon balancing just not great. I feel like there's not a lot of games that are getting it right, and I'm going from console to PC. Like now, I'm obsessed with PC games because I feel like they're the amount of games that you have on PC are just insane.
Yeah.
Especially free games that you can play. You just get on Steam and find free games. Like there's so many to play and stuff like that. Do you play, coming from console to going to PC, do you still play a lot on a controller?
No, I don't use a controller at all. On
Oh,
PC.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm actually very outspoken and against it.
Okay.
Because like no offense to anybody that does, obviously, but my thing is like if you're gonna make that jump, you might as well use
the tools.
The tools, yeah. Like use that precision, like dial in, take the time, dial in your sensitivity on your mouse to where you know exactly how far you have to move over across your mouse pad. Like I have an extended mouse pad, and my mouse pad has a little Overwatch logo. So I set it up to where on my sensitivity on all my games, one pass through that Overwatch logo, or over it, I should say, is 180-degree turn. So if I want to do a 360, I go 1, 2, super quick like that. So
interesting.
Yeah, and then I guess there's like really bad aim assist still with using a controller on PC. So everybody's like freaking out about it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I never thought I was going to say this out loud, but I prefer a mouse and keyboard after playing on a controller for 20 years. That's not something that I thought was ever going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, same here. It's like all the bindings you could do.
Yeah.
Make it really custom is cool.
I mean, it's frustrating at first. It's still frustrating to me. Like, it's frustrating me because I play the games that I play off stream, right? Because right now, which is a question I'm going to ask you, but right now, like, I play stuff that I can interact with my chat, and the stuff I like to play off stream is like CS and Val. Like, I play a lot of Valorant off stream. But I like it because it's so competitive, but it is really annoying going to mouse and still trying to figure out my sensitivities, because those games require so much like precision. It's not like you're playing Call of Duty and you're just kind of aiming at the person. That one, like, if you don't hit headshots, you fail. So like figuring out crosshairs and stuff like that, like, the custom and the movement, I feel like on PC is just incredible compared to a controller, because of, like you said, the bindings. You can bind whatever you want to make it more comfortable to you. And you're moving in any game is kind of astonishing. But that, now you said that, and I would say, do you have, like, when you first started streaming to like now, do you have like a fine tune of how long you like to stream, or do you have like a set time that you like to be like, okay, I want to get this many hours done today, or do you just roll with the punches?
Not really. I just kind of go with how the night's going, and if I get tired or if I get a headache, because throughout like this pandemic, like COVID, whatever you want to call it, like the 5 months or whatever, I think my average before I started working again was 10 hours a day.
Oh wow.
Like I'd be live anywhere between 8 to 11 a.m. to like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
or something like that. Something stupid.
Mm.
And then obviously taking a break for like eating and stuff. But we don't really have like a set schedule or a time, but there's always a time when if I eat on stream, we watch YouTube videos together. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that's structured about my channel right now.
That's which is awesome, because that's kind of something that I do. I think everybody kind of has that own like just chatting like feature within their channel, and like like mine happens to be in the very beginning. So I sit down and like I talk to everybody before I go into the game.
Nice.
I feel like I feel like that's a huge thing if you're a streamer, because I feel like you get to connect with your community a lot more by doing stuff like that, because it's more. I feel like it's more, the talks are more genuine when you're sitting there like watching a YouTube video with them, or just talking with them, you know, and just hanging out.
Yeah, because you get to laugh together and figure out what people like and what they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you get to know somebody new. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Which I you know, that was very alien to me. I felt like, I mean, I feel like everybody. I don't know if you feel this way too, but before I started streaming, I would watch. I mean, my two favorite streamers, which are completely different, or if I want to say three, are all completely different from each other, which is Summit, Tim the Tatman, and Shroud. And they're all
Same.
all very different, you know what I mean? Like Shroud is just a god at every FPS that he touches, you know what I mean? But he has the personality of a fucking brick, you know, most of the time. Yeah. And then you have like Tim, who's a goofball, but he's very, even though he's at the highest level of streamers, he's the most connected to his community I've seen. You know what I mean? Like he actually, like most of his time is just chatting.
Yeah.
For his streams, which is like, I don't know. I give him a lot of credit for that, because there's not a lot of people out there that I feel like, especially streamers that big, that are like that. And then I feel like Summit is kind of the in between. He kind of like is in touch with his community. I don't feel like he's in touch with his community as much as he was when he first started. But he's kind of in between, and he takes care of the people that are there, and he's a funny dude and a stoner, and you know, he's just interesting to watch. But when I watched them, I didn't think at all that I was gonna need to build a community. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't a thing. I wasn't like in my head thinking like, I knew people were gonna join, but I thought if I just played, you know what I mean, people will come, and it's not like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, now my perception is I can play, but if I talk, maybe people will come. You know what I mean? Or maybe people will stay. And would you say that since you started streaming that you've become like more? You said that you're a very extroverted person, but would you say that you're more more articulate when you speak to people, or like you know how to speak to people differently than you did before you started streaming?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's probably more professional. When before I would just make up little acronyms for words and say goofy crap. And now it's like when I'm writing emails or something for work, or like just in general, I always put thank you for your time down at the bottom. And I try to say that as much, because like time is, especially on Twitch, time is like the most important thing you could give somebody.
100%.
So I try to like thank everybody for that, either when I'm leaving, or like if I notice I have like 6 viewers for 2 hours, I'm like, thanks guys for popping in. If you like what you see, feel free to stick around, stuff like that. So.
And I think that is you know, I think that's the difference between that's the difference between somebody who says that they want to stream, you know what I mean, and somebody who actually takes the time, you know what I mean. I feel like there are a lot of people that I have, like, how much, I guess I can ask you this: how much time do you like dedicate to watching other people's streams, if any? Like, do you pop into new people's streams just to see what they're like and stuff like that, or
yeah. Yeah, so it's mostly when I'm leaving, I'll look for somebody to raid. Like I have my little my stages. Like I check my team that I'm on first and
Uh-huh.
see if they're live, or then I'll go through my list, or I'll just let my auto host do its thing. So I
Uh-huh.
add a lot of people to my auto host. So when I'm done, they just get sent right over there. So but when I'm not streaming, working from home, it's a little bit easier, but
Yeah.
I'll have somebody going most of the time, and just pop into new people, or people that I haven't seen in a while. I'll go catch up. Like there's a guy named Mike's who plays your European Truck Simulator a lot. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So I pop in there and he does the Smeagol voice and I get a laugh. So he's like, I can't even do it, which is weird. But yeah, he's like, oh, good to see you, bro. He's from Europe, so he's got that accent. So it's like really cool to hear. So
and that's kind of, would you say that, like, I mean, from doing that, has your stream changed, like seeing other people stream, or have you just kind of kept it like yourself? Because I know a lot of people talk about seeing other people's streams, like seeing alerts and stuff like that, and they're like, I'm gonna change mine like right now.
Yeah, definitely. Like with my new overlay, I definitely took it from not like straight rip, but I took aspects from Soda Poppin'.
Oh, okay.
With how his camera border changes. I don't know if he still has that now, but like a year ago, his camera border would change depending on the alert, and then it would pop out of the camera border. So I was like, that'd be sweet if I could get something like that going. So I got that, and then transitions. I'm like, I kind of need a stinger right now.
Oh, you need it?
After seeing that, I'm like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
so I got that going, and then as far as background, like I definitely want to have like a cool aesthetic. I don't right now. I just have a wood burn picture of my dog and a Twitch plushie.
Yeah.
I definitely want to have like a blue light like I did in my house, but just finding the right mixture of of everything. So
yeah, which that's kind of something that I guess I'll ask you this question, because I feel like a lot of people, they have the do you agree that if you have the space, you should make the space your own, or somebody should just use a green screen? Like, how okay are you with people using green screens within their, not like a Dr. Disrespect green screen. That's different. Like Joe Schmo that uses the green screen and just puts his face within the game. Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, if you're living in a house with like 5 other people and you might keep your area clean but they don't, and your only way to stream is the living room because that's where the router is and you want to be Ethernet Etherneted in, and it's a little messy, obviously. Do what you think is good. Like, I'm not going to tell anybody, oh, your setup looks like crap, or fix whatever's in your background. But it's really personal preference, but like me, I wouldn't ever use a green screen because I think having a space to go with the face is pretty cool. Like, it's more personal. Like, you get invited into my room, like, hey, how's it going, guys? This is my everyday, so
yeah. And I think that's one of the big things. Like, I don't knock anybody who use it. Everybody's situation is different, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And I feel like if you, exactly like you said, like, if you have the space, do it. Because like, a lot of people that don't, there's a lot of people, for instance, that come to my stream or they click on my stream just because of my fucking posters. Like, just because of my posters that I have on my wall, people will come in because it's all anime stuff. So people will come in and we'll have an anime discussion, and sometimes they stay or sometimes they go just based on that, and but I felt like if I had a green screen, then people would just kind of, I do green screen work for like my community nights and stuff like that, which, if you guys haven't seen it, there's some videos from past streams that I've done, and I'll be doing one again this week. But like, that for me was like, it's more production value because I'm doing something different, and stuff like that. But for some people it does work, you know what I mean? Like, some people like Ringer, which he's a streamer that I watch as well. He does it and it works because his camera layout is kind of set up like a camera, or like his stream is set up like it's kind of like in a DSLR setup.
Nice.
So like, it looks like the camera's taking it like it looks like the stream is a camera focused on him with stuff like the game in the background, which is, I think, a very unique way of running things. But I feel like the streamers that are more that, like, there's a reason why I feel like most of the big streamers have that kind of like vibe in their stream. You know what I mean? Like most of the bigger people, they have that room set up, you know what I mean, where they have bits and pieces of themselves within it. Unless you're like Ninja and you look like you're in an evil lair, you know what I mean? And like his is very like niche, but he's Ninja, so people are gonna click anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
So, but what is your favorite thing about streaming? That you've noticed? Like, is it just being on camera or talking to people? Like, what is the thing that makes you click go live every day?
It's just the possibility of getting to meet new people.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when my favorite thing is when I hit like a really cool snipe or something happens to where everybody gets super excited.
Yeah.
I feel that and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. People actually like what I'm doing. So
I feel that.
It's kind of a mixture. Definitely meeting new people. So I'm a big like people person. Like I like to hear people's stories, where they came from, where they want to go, you know, stuff like that, and then relate my struggles and my situations to theirs, and hopefully help somebody. So, like that's a big thing.
That's a very wholesome. That's a very wholesome answer. And that's awesome. No, for real. I think that you know, a lot of people. I mean, I try to do the same. You know what I mean? And the more that I've built my community up, like, I stopped. I don't know. I feel like when I first started streaming, I was like, I'm just gonna be big based on playing games, and I never thought that I was gonna get attached to the people that watch my stuff, and like I was gonna get close to them. And now I'm like I have a Discord of over 100 people. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Insane that there's that many people, and I try to interact with them as much as I can. And like, you know, some days I can't because I'm sick and stuff like that, but like, and those people, you know, they all kind of talk to each other, and you know, everybody kind of knows each other. And even if they don't get to the stream and they're having like a hard day, like some of them will message me and I'll talk to them. And that's kind of what makes me, like, that's what makes worthwhile for me.
Right.
Everybody can press go live, but not everybody can, like, I don't know, want to give back. You know what I mean, to the people that watch them. And I think that that's a whole different aspect of. I think that that's like a different way of like entertainment. You know, like Twitch streaming, I feel like is a stream where, or like it's an entertainment value that hasn't really broke the service yet. I think streaming's, because it's so new, people haven't figured it out. I think that, like you said, I think Dr. Disrespect has figured it out. I think that that's like literally the highest level of streaming you can get to. Like that's the cap as of right now. Just for entertainment. And I feel like, you know, because there's a lot of dinosaur entertainment that is going to start going away. And I think that the more that those things go away, like TV shows and stuff like that, because obviously cable's kind of taking the shit right now. I mean, you still have like a lot of shows on Netflix and stuff like that, but cable is kind of going away. And I think with the more people just buying internet, I think that more people are starting to watch streamers based on that entertainment versus watching a TV show. I mean, I would want to see the numbers, but I'm pretty sure that that's kind of where the world is going at the moment.
Yeah. And even like TV shows on streaming services, like I could watch The Office on NBC, and they're playing an episode, or I could go to Netflix and I could watch season 7, episode 4,
Yep.
or whatever. Like everything is going to like digital streaming as opposed to like physical cable boxes, because it's like cheaper, and the libraries are getting so vast. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, if you would have told me even 5 years ago that the state of entertainment was going to be mostly streaming and no cable, I would have called that person the fattest of liars, because I'm like, there's no way, because I never thought, like, for instance, Amazon would ever buy Twitch. I never thought that was going to be a thing. Yeah, like, why would Amazon even want to be affiliated with a video game streaming service? And then you have the podcast thing that opened up. Like, they have a section just for podcasts. The just chatting, like, became a thing. There's cooking shows that are on Twitch now. Like, and I think Twitch is still trying to figure out what they want their platform to be. And it would be interesting to see if Amazon kind of does their own spin-off, you know what I mean, and keeps Twitch gaming and then doing something else that'll be more podcasts and stuff like that, related. But it's wild, man. I never really thought it was gonna be a thing. And I thought Twitch would have died by now as well. I don't know if you feel like that or not, but
yeah, because when I first started, I'm like, well, what's the draw? When I was doing my research, I'm like, what's the draw of watching somebody else play video games? So I was like, I'd be pretty bored, because he's doing the same thing over and over. But then you get that like personable, or like personal aspect that comes in with, like, having your own schedule, or the way you talk to people and interact is like, makes it, like you said, on a whole nother level. Yeah. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I think that it is on a different level, because I feel like there's only, like, for instance, how do you feel about, like, what is your take? Do you think a streamer can make it without a camera now, in the state of Twitch and how it is now? Do you think that somebody could make it? Because there's only one streamer that I know of on Twitch that consistently pulls a ridiculous amount of viewers, but he's been streaming since Twitch has been out, and that's Anomaly. You know what I mean? And
I was going to say Dakota's, but I think he started using a camera.
Yeah, I think Dakota's has started using a camera, but that's because Dakota's has been more than his pro days. Like, he was he was pro, and then from going pro, he went to, now he's more entertainment, and he's more, I call him a Twitch slave, kind of, because whenever they have a Twitch Rivals thing, he's a part of it, no matter what.
He's always there.
That's
what I was going to say. I was like, if you were a pro, like, you'd have to be really, really good, or like have a following to make it without a camera. But if you're just starting out, it's going to be tough. Because I feel like people don't really click on cameras, or like non-camera streams, as versus like streams that have a camera, because they want the personal interaction or whatever.
Yeah,
that's just how I feel.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, in my opinion, will probably change, right? I've only been streaming for 6 months, so, like,
jeez.
Yeah, I know, which is kind of weird, right? Like,
wow.
And you didn't, just out of curiosity, you didn't know that was a thing?
No.
Yeah, I started March 1st of this year.
Jeez.
Yeah, so
well, congrats on all your success, dude.
Yeah, well, not I wouldn't call myself successful. I just, just things just kind of happened, which is, I don't really try to think about it as much as I used to. I used to panic, because I'm like, what is happening? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. I really thought it was going to be like a year in, and then maybe I would have gotten affiliate. But getting affiliate in literally 20 days, I got affiliate on March 21st, was like crazy. And now, like, I'm almost at 600 followers, which is fucking bananas, which I never ever thought that was going to be a thing.
Right.
And you know, but because of my like how my channel has gone, my opinion is that if you're going to stream, you kind of have to have a lot of personality and a lot of yourself in the stream, and that's outside of your voice. Like, I feel like right now COVID kind of showed that literally everybody started streaming as soon as literally everybody and their mother like literally at the same time that I did just started streaming,
Especially in the sports world.
yeah,
Like Von Miller,
fucking
I'm blanking on names, but
let's talk about music. T-Pain, you know what I mean? T-Pain just started. Like, Logic just signed a contract with Twitch. Like,
crazy.
you know, like it's crazy. And then you have everybody else who just literally like has never streamed a day in their life or has no other platform, just started streaming. And like, you have like cameras that are out of stock. There's microphones that are out of stock. There's, you know, I was trying to buy this DSLR. I had to scour the planet for this fucking DSLR. And then I bought this mic, and I bought 2 more of these so I can start doing live podcasts here at my house. And I went to go buy a 4th one, and they were out of stock a week after I bought the mic. So like, everybody is just like trying to get into it and trying to do it. And you know, there's a lot of people. So you said that you're part of a stream team. Is that okay? I was part of one when I first started. I'm not anymore. I'm not really attached to anybody other than the organization that I'm trying to start later, which is First Dimension Gaming, which you know, hopefully that'll come to fruition in a couple months. But you know, when there's a lot of people I started streaming the same time with, and there's a lot of people that stopped like completely.
Yeah.
And you know, either they felt like their success wasn't as fast as they were going to be or whatever. But I think a lot of that is because a lot of people who get on stream, they kind of don't know themselves. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know where they want their content to go, or exactly like you're a very extroverted person. And I feel like everybody who's introverted feels like they can't, I don't know. It takes, you can't really be introverted and be on stream. I feel like that's not really, you kind of have to have a different energy level. You know what I mean? Like playing and talking to people. And I think that people kind of get that twisted. I'm not saying be fake. You know what I mean? If you're a mellow dude, like for instance, my little brother is the most mellow human being, but I find him the most entertaining dude on the planet. And I wish that he would start streaming. So if you're listening to this, bud, please start. But he's, you know, he's very like to himself. You know, he's very like quiet, and you know, but he's hilarious because he's quiet, but he just says things that you're just like, this off the wall. So I'm not telling you that you need to bounce off the walls, you know what I mean, and say crazy shit and like be ridiculous. Like for instance, like for me, I know I'm crazy during my community nights, which you've probably experienced. Like, my marble streams are fucking lit. I'm fucking amped, you know what I mean? Like, G fuel in the veins, like I'm cranking, you know. And I think a lot of people, they're like, man, like that's, you know, that's crazy, but you don't have to do that. I think it's easier for people to kind of, I feel like you should, if you're trying it out, like, step outside your comfort zone, become a little bit more extroverted on camera, and then when you press end stream, then stop. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. And some people can't click it off. I don't know. When you get done streaming, like, how much does it take out of you? Like, are you really tired afterwards?
Yeah, it's more because I'm not gonna say it's physically taxing, other than wrist. Like, if I'm playing Guitar Hero for like 8 hours, but I'm gonna be hurting. But mentally, it's like, oh, I just want to like wind down before bed, or like I just want to lay down, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I'm kind of the there's only been a couple streams. I mean, for me, it's pretty taxing mentally to like if you have like 10 people watching you or 5 people watching you and you're trying to like stay amped and you're like boom, 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 boom. The downtime of when you get off is like very important to me, I feel like, because I'm just like, I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like drained. I did a 24-hour stream a couple, like 3 months ago now. And that is the only time where my body physically hurt. Like, I was dead. Like, I like was on the verge of falling asleep. I was 3 monsters deep.
Damn.
And I was playing Daisy on console, and I just remember like I was just in pain.
Yeah.
And you know, because you're sitting in a chair nonstop. Like, I would get up to go take a leak or whatever, but by the time I got back, I was like, oh my god, like fuck, I just want this to be over. Like, the 18-hour mark came, and I was like, fuck. I felt like a marathon runner when they talk about the wall. At 18 hours, I hit that wall, and I was like, my chat was like, you should just stop.
Just go to bed, man.
Just go to bed. And I pushed through, and I hit the 24. I went like
Nice.
24 and 15. I will never do that again, though.
Damn.
I'll never do it again unless I do like a charity stream. If I do a charity stream, then maybe.
Yeah. Sure.
But is that something that you would like to do eventually? I know that like doing charity streams and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that gives back to people and like helps somebody
mm-hmm.
is right up my alley for sure.
And the going back to the stream team stuff. How long have you been part of that stream team? Just out of curiosity.
I think it's only been a month.
A month?
Maybe not even.
And
3 weeks.
And how do you like it so far? Just out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, because there's a lot of mixed reviews. And people talk about it, and I've given my viewpoint on it, and I think that, you know, I've given my viewpoint that I think it's good, because it gives you kind of a sense of community. It just depends on the team that you're on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how have you? This is the first team that you've been on for streaming?
Yeah.
Okay. And how is it different from what you're used to?
Not right now, because I was just gonna say it's still in the infancy, so they're kind of figuring out stuff between the owners and stuff, like what the future holds, and I'm just kind of one of the first people they're bringing in. It's me and like 2 other guys.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, that aren't owners, I believe, because there's a couple owners and then 1 content creator and 1 streamer, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
so
dope.
Yeah, they're just trying to figure out what we're doing, I guess. But I've known one of the owners for as long as I've been streaming. Like we met through a mutual streamer that no longer streams, but we always kind of popped into each other's channels, and he started streaming, and I'm like, dude, this is amazing. So he's super good at sniping. So if you're a good sniper, you got my view. So,
oh, okay. Awesome.
He's hitting trick shots in Fortnite, and his content on YouTube is just insane. So
that's awesome.
I'm gonna plug him, like Boff_14 on Twitch.
Awesome.
So yeah, he's super genuine dude as well. So
that's awesome. I see, like, joining that's I would say that's the correct way of joining a stream team. The way that I did it was not the correct way of joining a stream team. I had joined the stream team that when I first started streaming, and I'm very thankful because they helped me get to affiliate, and I don't want to get that twisted, but I didn't know where I wanted to take my content at the time, and I hadn't been streaming that long. I'd only been streaming for like 2 weeks at that time when I had joined them. And when I realized where I wanted my content to go and how much time it was taking me to kind of be involved with what they were doing and helping so much, is when I kind of needed to take a step back, because I was like, I don't even know what I want to do yet. So, like, I don't know if I want to, like, go off the wall, you know what I mean? And then, like, I can't be part of the team anyway. So,
right.
You know, like, I didn't know what I was going to do. And, you know, a lot of people, like, this whole podcasting thing, like, this is a very niche thing. You know what I mean? Like what I'm trying to do with this podcast, which, you know, we talked about a little bit before, is just to do you watch Joe Rogan at all? This is the best way that I can kind of summarize
I do,
it.
yeah.
So he talks about in his podcast about how comedy back in the day, when comedy first started, like way back, comedy first started, and it was more an individual basis. Like people just kind of cared about what they were doing, and it was like a cutthroat thing where like people were like, oh well, you know, I'm only gonna care about me, and I don't care about the other, like the community, and I'm not gonna give people advice and stuff like that. I'm gonna kind of keep it to myself. And like now comedy is in a state where everybody loves each other and everybody's like on the same boat. Everybody's trying to help each other. Everybody's trying to plug each other and kind of just be there for each other. And there's more community. And I feel like streaming is kind of at that infancy right now because it's only been 15 years. You know what I mean? It's only been, well, let's say 15 years. I would say that 15 years is kind of the staple of when it started. And now, like, there's still a lot of, I feel like there's still a lot of that. Like you have alpha gaming, which you talked about, and most of everybody who's new, like I like his videos. It's very good for people who first start. But I feel like he's kind of the only person out there that's giving quality information, you know?
Yeah.
But doing this podcast brings, I want to bring all like as many streamers as I can and get their viewpoints on streaming, and also get my audience or the audience of the podcast to get to know them, you know what I mean, which is what the whole goal is. And then, you know, if you are a streamer or you're not a streamer and you listen to it and you're like, oh, okay, that's a viewpoint that I've never heard before, or like, oh, that's something like the being more personable thing. I think that's a really big take on this podcast.
Right.
Is just being more personable. And that was kind of something that when I was part of the stream team, I was like, I don't know if I have the time to do the podcast. You know what I mean? If I wanted to do it. And I didn't think I was going to do this podcast anyway until like a year later when I had like figured out audio and stuff like that. But I met such amazing people like you. I was like, I wonder if I can actually get people to talk on this. So, which everybody's been fucking crazy, you know, and everybody's been super hype. And Twitch is not the place for podcasts, which I know. There's not a lot of people that are on Twitch looking for a podcast, especially to watch it live. You know what I mean? Like most people.
Cool, it has a category though.
Yeah, it's really dope. It's cool as hell, but a lot of people are either there to watch it live. Like most of my audience, like that. I guess this was something I was talking about earlier with Archer. Is like my average is not the greatest when I press live and do these, but it's what comes out of it by posting on YouTube and Spotify and stuff like that. Like the viewership on Spotify alone is tenfold what I would have on Twitch, which is, you know, crazy. And I think people, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize that you can make a small impact. You know what I mean? You make a small impact on people by having something like this. Even I don't really even care if there's like 5 people that listen to this every week, I'll still do it every week. Just to help them. I don't really expect much, you know, from a lot of people, but this is very interesting. And you said that this was your first podcast that you've been on. How different is it from just being on stream?
It's like different in the fact that I can like hear a voice instead of see screen, like text on a screen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really not like I'm nervous, but
yeah,
it's like not really too different, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
I call it wordsmithing. I feel like streaming is a lot of entertaining, and I feel like podcasting is like martial arts, but with words.
Oh,
Pretty
damn.
much, like that's how I look at it, because it's you have to when I stream, when I'm talking to people, I don't really have to keep the conversation going. It's more like I'm talking to them. When I'm doing the podcast, it's you're kind of when you're doing a podcast, you kind of have to keep the conversation going. So
Right.
you're trying to. It's like I see the conversation going one way. I'm like, okay, like, oh, how can I keep it going? And that's kind of
Yeah.
changed, and it's helped a lot, I guess. I never thought that this was gonna be a thing, where like I was gonna be relatively okay at talking, but
Yeah.
I guess I don't shut the fuck up, so it kind of works out. You know what I mean?
Right. And also being in control. Like if it's going away that it not really envisioned your podcast to go, like, hey, we don't really want to touch on this subject. You have to be like, hey, let's bring it back to the topic at hand,
Yeah,
and like demand that the
Mhm.
control of the conversation, I guess.
Yeah, which I haven't had any issue with, because I feel like everybody who I've asked on to it, they are, I mean, we're all kind of in the same boat, we're just, this is a nice way to have a conversation about streaming and actually talk about why we do what we do. And I think everybody just kind of want to take a part in it, and like try to help other people that aren't necessarily, that don't have that, you know what I mean? Like, I know that if I see something that you do and I'm very intrigued, I know you're a good guy, and I can message you and be like, hey, like, how'd you do that? You know what I mean? And vice versa. I would hope that you would, if there was like something that you had questions about, you message either me or somebody else that also streams, and do that, because I feel like I said, like, streaming is in such an early stage that I think people have so much pride, instead of just asking, like, hey, how did you do that?
Yeah.
And unless the only people I have ask questions are people who are like brand new to streaming, like have like 2 or 3 streams, and then they'll ask me something, and I'm perfectly fine answering those questions. But I still don't know what I'm doing.
Well, would you like to answer a question right now?
Yeah. I can.
What DSLR are you using?
So I use a Canon M200.
Okay.
Which is it's the EOS. So if you watch, I guess it's basically meant for recording. It's not really a DSLR that's meant for, like taking photos, which I can still take photos with it, which is something that I'm perfectly fine with. But I went from a Logitech C920, which is like just a regular webcam.
Yeah.
And then I bought the M200, which it took me forever to fucking find. I finally found one in the middle of bumfuck Kentucky for Best Buy, and I had it shipped over. And it took me forever to find. And the reason why I went to a DSLR was, if you're watching, I don't know if you're watching the Discord or not, like for the video, but like my bed, like my room is very small. And like with the wide angle, you can't see, like I can go like this, and people are like, "What the fuck?" Like my bed looks hella far away. You know what I mean? Until I do that, and then they go, "What the hell?" And that's the main reason why I did it. But like I can't, like, that's as far back as I can back up. You know what I mean? Like, so I wanted to do something with that, and then the other thing was I went to a DSLR because of doing green screen work, which doing my community nights where I'm actually standing up and verbally doing trivia and stuff like that, and doing marbles. Like, I wanted a camera where the quality was on point, and I wouldn't, like, I have to physically move this tripod and the camera to the middle of my room, and then I have the green screen set up. And it was just a bitch doing that with a webcam. Like, I couldn't get it right. It was just it was a bitch doing. And then, the quality went up, and then I went to a mic. Do you use a DSLR, or do you use a webcam? Just out of curiosity.
I use a webcam, so I went from the C920,
Uh-huh.
and now I'm using the Logitech Brio. But I think the only thing that I can do short of adding like movies, like an intro video to my stream, is updating my camera. So
Mm-hmm.
I've no idea how to go about doing that. So I just kind of wanted to
Oh, yeah.
ask you about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I already had, so this was it's actually funny that you asked me that because I don't know if you know who Jibval is, but he's also a streamer that he's now doing a lot of podcasts and stuff like that. And he asked me that question. He's like, because the conversation is between the M200, which is the Canon, and the Sony 5100.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh well, I would just buy the Sony," and I agreed with him. The only reason why I went with Canon is because I already had Canon products, so I already had like lenses and stuff like that. Like I had 3 different lenses for this specific camera from an old camera that I had, and then I also had like camera straps. I had a tripod that's specifically for Canon cameras. And I also had a couple other things. I had a dummy battery as well, which is something that people don't realize. And then when you also run a DSLR, which I don't know if you know this or not, but when you run a DSLR, you have to have a capture card, just like you would stream from your Xbox to your PC. Which a lot of people don't realize that that's a thing, I guess. But I didn't know that that was a thing. You have to run a fine HDMI from your camera, and then it goes into the capture card, and that's how you capture the camera. It's not like it has a USB that plugs in like a webcam.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's why the quality. I would say that a lot of the time that's why the quality is the way it is. Like I get 60 frames, on this camera versus when I had the Logitech, I only get 30 frames. And like that makes a lot of difference. And then, but if you're going to do the DSLR, if you don't have camera equipment, I would tell you get the Sony 5100, the A5100. It's probably the best camera. It's the best bang for your buck. Like this camera, I guess I can tell people price points, but this camera is a $500 camera. The Sony A5100 is a $400 camera.
Jeez.
And the A5100, the lens that it comes with, I believe is an 18 millimeter wide angle, which versus the Canon, which has a 15 millimeter, and the 15 millimeter is fucking insane. Like, you know what I mean? Like 15 gives you the widest possible angle. Like this camera, like it's right now like sucked all the way in, so this is as wide as the camera will possibly be. But like I said, because it's so wide, like I make my room look like it's a mansion. Jeez. When in the reality of it, like my room is like the size of this, and then my desk, and like I have a tiny portion in between. Which this is going away. My bed's going away. Probably next week, and I will be having a Murphy bed, put in. So it'll be something I can fold up, and I'll have more room. What mic do you use? I guess I can ask you that real quick.
Yeah, I use the Shure SM7B.
Holy crap!
Yeah. So that's what I chose to put my money into. Audio first, and now I'm slowly getting into the video. So
100%. And you said you run a mixer too, is that correct? You run an XLR mixer?
I got the Go XLR Mini.
Oh, okay.
That's what I use. So that's right off to the right of my mouse.
And how interesting, because I did the same thing just recently. I went to a mixer. I use a Peel mixer, which is more of a I guess you use it for audio for like music and stuff like that more than you do for like streaming. Like
a 3-channel then, or is it?
Yeah. So I have the on my desk is a 2-channel, and then for I do have a 4-channel, and then I have a 6-channel as well. So I've got those that are inside there, and the 4-channel and the 6-channel are meant for when I start doing the live stuff here at the house and producing a lot more podcasts, not just for me but for other people. I can pull that out real quick and hook everything up. But because of how much space the mixer takes up, like it's kind of insane. You know what I mean? Like like the 6 panel is like literally this long. So like I have to kind of move everything off my desk and place it. And then even then it's like it's still too much because I run I have 5 monitors like on my desk, which is I mean people call that excessive. I call it a luxury of living.
Right.
But because of how many monitors I run, it's very hard to run a lot of things on my desk.
Yeah.
Which my desk is 7 feet long. So I have 7 feet, and I would say 5 of it is just monitors. So then I have 2 feet after that.
Jeez,
Which
I got a 6 feet, and I'm running 3 monitors, and it takes up the whole width.
Yeah.
So I'd have to wall mount if I got any more.
Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah, I have like this one, this side one, this right here actually. This is mounted in the back of my desk, so it's got a swing arm that allows it to swing. But that's what gave me like this is hanging off the. I mean, there's only like 1 foot there. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot there. But that microphone is insane. What is the price point on that microphone? Just out of curiosity, before the mixer and stuff like that.
Oh, before so just if you were to go out and buy the mic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
$4.99.
God damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like Michael Jackson used that on Thriller.
Wow.
So it's like the industry standard for music.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I like the look of it because it's not like a typical mic where the XLR comes out from the bottom.
Yeah, like mine. Yeah.
It has its own mount. And the XLR is on top where you like screw it into your mic stand. So yeah, that was a big draw for me. So you could literally move it wherever you want it to be.
It's
you won't get the cord tangled up. So
that's that's awesome. That's this actually I don't know where it is. Maybe I don't have it with me. I had my $20 mic, which I don't know if it's like here anymore or not. But I just went to this mic, and so I kind of did the opposite. I kind of invested in both, but I invested in my DSLR first and then did audio kind of second. So I bought the mixer and then I bought a microphone that was better than the one I have, which is this is the Audio Technica AT1010, and it's I love this microphone, but like the microphone that you have is ridiculous compared to this one. Like this
and that was I was gonna go with the Audio Technica if this one wasn't in stock. I had to wait because like you said, everybody started streaming, so Amazon had everything I was gonna buy on back order, so I had to wait.
Your microphone has a very warm quality to it, that's how that's kind of how I describe things to people when it comes to audio. When you have when you're regularly speaking into the mic and there's a very like warm sound, it usually means it's a very good microphone. Versus like, so you have like a microphone, for instance, where like my $20 mic, the highs were stupid pitchy high and my lows were very like cut off. Versus like having a microphone that's very good, your highs are stupid high but not pitchy, and your lows are like to the ground. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what gives you your warm. There's more dynamic to the sound that you're putting out. And that's what makes for a good mic. And that's that's the most. I mean, you can do some crazy things. Like I said, that $20 mic, I put a fuck ton of filters on it and made it sound as decent as I possibly could, and it got me through the first 3 months or 4 months before I bought this one. But having a mixer and everything like that, like your mic quality goes through the roof, or your sound quality goes like. Now I'm doing a video of, it's called Road to 500, which was I took a lot of Twitch clips from the first 6 months, basically the first 500 followers, and listening to my microphone and looking at my stream. My first clip to now is like night and day. And like,
Yeah.
you know, I know there's a lot of people that don't have all the money in the world to invest, you know what I mean? But pick and choose your battles, you know what I mean? Like, you chose audio because you were having audio issues. Well, if you know that your audio issues are the things that you want to fix, well, now you basically have fixed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that improved your stream. For me, mine was video. Mine was video quality. I wanted my video quality to look greater, and then I went with a microphone that was a little, not budget. It's not a budget microphone. I mean, $100 microphone is fucking not a budget microphone, but it's still like I picked my battle and I chose what I needed to. Everybody's situation is going to be different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But how is like your family, are they very supportive of your streaming and stuff like that? Just out of curiosity.
100%. My mom doesn't really come in because when I'm streaming, she's either sleeping or working because she works overnights.
Mm-hmm.
But my sister's been in here. My dad is actually recording this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do with it, but he's like, yeah, I'm capturing the audio. I'm like, oh, sweet. So he's run radio shows and like internet radio shows as far as I can remember. So
really,
he would come down and record my band when we're practicing in his basement, and when we'd come up to leave, he's like, hey, can I grab a quick interview? So he's always been super supportive, and I think that's where some of my like humbleness comes from.
Yeah.
With him being a drummer for all my life and showing me the beauty of music and like drums and how you can portray yourself through that. It's like it's insane. So yeah, I definitely get the most support from my family and friends, but
that's
more so family. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, because I know that there's a lot of, like, for instance, my family's supportive, but they're not, like, they don't know really what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of see it. Like, I live with my grandparents because I help them out with the house and stuff like that. And, like, they'll tune into my stuff, but they have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even know, like, the game or anything, and they try to support. I mean, my biggest support group is my best friends, which we Salt Factories, you know, there's 10 of us. And when I started doing it, they were a giant support group. And I think that those people that are starting to stream that don't really have the support, like, it's kind of, I feel because it's rough, man, to feel alone while streaming, because there's a lot of, like, because you are more likely to get down on yourself, especially when you see your numbers kind of hit the floor. Or, like, you see, like, some things that you're doing aren't working, or you feel like you're not progressing as hard as you want to. So having kind of that backbone or that structure is, like, big for people. I, like, have told people I've told people that, like, if they need, like, if you link up and you network with other streamers, like, that, it'll help a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that that's why I wanted this podcast to become a thing, because I think streamers, like, we are a huge community. Like, we're a very niche community. There's a lot of people that are out there, but the people that are trying to actually do it professional, it's a very small number of people that are actually doing it. And there's a very small number of affiliates. You know what I mean? Like, the number I think is like 15%.
Jeez.
15% of streamers on Twitch are affiliated or partnered. There's only there's only 60,000 partners for Twitch as of right now. So
crazy.
That's, like, for people who don't realize, like, that's literally nothing. Like, like 60,000 is like it's small, but if you even just become affiliate, you are part of a percentage that doesn't even really make sense. Like, there's millions of people that hit go live every day.
Yeah.
But for you to be an affiliate, or you to even just have an average of 3 people, that puts you in the top 15% of Twitch. And when that fact was given to me, that changed my whole aspect of streaming. Like everything changed for me. I was like, damn, really? Like that's really a thing?
It's insane.
And it's nuts to me. I still to this day I can't believe that that's the thing. So if you don't really have the support, I think that, you know, I'm happy that, you know, for a lot of people that I've met, they've had the support of it, and I know that there's some people that don't. Just link up and network. I mean, network it with other streamers, and they'll tell you whether or not you're being a knucklehead or not. You know what I mean? That's kind of,
yeah.
I've had people do the same thing. I get down on myself, and you know, those people who I've been streaming with and or been part of that community, they're like, "What the fuck do you have to be upset about?" You know what I mean? And kind of changes your mind. What advice, like if a brand new streamer, say they're starting tomorrow, what is the biggest advice you'd give to that person?
Really quick, I just wanted to go back to your friend support thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like my top bit donator or whatever is one of my best friends at 20,000.
Holy
my
crap!
Second place is the bass player in my band.
That's awesome.
And it's like, it's so important to have that, and like they're always watching my stream, they're always supporting me, so it's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. So as far
that's
as
awesome.
Yeah, and like I think my bass player is like a 31-month sub.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so he's been around since the beginning. So it's really fun to see.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like going like to your question, just kind of what we talked about before. Be yourself. Be personable. I'd say personally, don't stream if you have no way to keep your chat up while you're streaming. Just because that's so important. Like people come in, they say, "Hey," they expect an answer back. Otherwise, they're like, "Oh, this guy's too good for me. I'm gonna leave."
Yeah.
I'm 100% convinced you're not going to make it, or even pull in 3 viewers if you don't interact with your chat in some way. Even if it's putting in your title, "Hey, I can't read chat, but I appreciate the view," or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then just be yourself, play what you want to play. Yeah. And just have fun with it. That's about it. That's what I did.
That's awesome.
So
yeah.
Somewhat worked.
Yeah, I think that's I'm glad that you said that, because I think that a lot, I mean, that's our whole, I mean, I would say a majority of this podcast and us talking, which I hope that you'll come back on eventually later on down the road.
You want me to be on, dude. It's fun.
the major thing that we kind of spoke about was kind of that in like community and in chat and having those conversations and how important it is, and I'm glad that you reiterated that, because yeah, even to this day, like I feel like if you don't, a lot of people leave if you're not talking to your chat. You know what I mean? Like if somebody's in my chat and they've said something to me and it's been longer than 60 seconds and I haven't said anything, I feel like dog shit.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I'm like, God damn, they went out of their way to say something to me and I just blew them off.
Right.
And or that's how I feel. And then there's some people, like my best friend. He tried streaming. He doesn't stream anymore, but he tried streaming, and while he was streaming, he was just kind of doing his thing, and he had messages from like an hour prior.
Dang.
And like just didn't say anything. And then he took it upon himself to say it just wasn't his thing. You know what I mean? He was like, "Oh, it's just not my thing. Like I'm not meant for it." You know what I mean? He's like, "I want to play in front of people. I just don't have the attention span to because you're multitasking. You're playing and you're talking to people, looking at chat. Like it's a lot." So I'm glad you reiterated. Is there any other questions you have for me, just out of curiosity? Because this is for people that don't know. I have been part of your community for a while, and I actually stumbled upon you watching you play Call of Duty. I ended up you are recommended for me at the time.
Dang.
And I had jumped on and stuff like that. But this is like the first real conversation we've had with each other. And
voice to voice or face to face, however you want to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you want to know about me or any questions that you have before we end this?
I mean, I'm sure I'll think of it as soon as it's over, but
Yeah.
just,
I feel that.
your consistence for consistence. Your what was the word? Your pursuit of like getting better and better as something that I've personally always looked up to as far as like streaming. Like you're always evolving. You're always in the short time even that I've come in and join your channel. It's changed so much. It's crazy. And like the quality is just night and day. It's different. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to point. It's not really a question, more of like a congratulations on everything you're doing and like improvements made.
I
I
appreciate it, man. It means a lot.
Yeah.
I still don't really I guess that's kind of a fault that I have, is like I always feel like there's more that I could be doing, you know what I mean, to change things, which is I guess why my channel has so aggressively changed. Because there's a lot of people that they don't change their stuff as aggressively, I guess. Like watching that video that I've been making for the 500 followers thing, that has opened my mind, like that opened my eyes drastically, because I was like, there's no way, like it looks like my first video or first clip that I have literally looks like it happened like 2-3 years ago. Like
Jeez.
It doesn't make sense that it happened like March, you know. And I appreciate the compliment and the because it does mean a lot, because I do, like, I really want this to be a career, which I think all of us do. And I, you know, I'm this is very new to me. Like I didn't go to college for any of this. I didn't do anything like that. So like it's very it is very weird to me to like to get on and like work on things and, you know, do things differently and drastically change the content and, you know, evolve. I feel like you have to, though, you know what I mean? You steadily have to improve things and get things and evolve your channel, and that way you don't stagnate. And, you know, very critical of myself, which is another aspect. I know a lot of people I've said this before on my own stream. But I've talked about how you can be overly critical in a bad way. You know what I mean? Where like you're critical in the sense that you bring yourself down to the point where there's no return. Where like there's no way to evolve, you know, there's no way to pick up the pieces, you know what I mean? Or change things. Which I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So being able to critique yourself, but not put yourself into the ground, I feel like that's a big thing for me, just in my personal life. Like I've always kind of been, you know, because I wasn't always like that. So that's kind of one of the messages that I spread to kids and stuff like that, especially kids that come onto my channel, because whether I like it or not, like my channel, most of the people that watch my channel are females, which is kind of weird, and kids that are under 18, you know, 15, 16, 17 year olds. There's not a lot of dudes my age watching my channel, you know. It's just not a thing. I never thought that was going to be a thing either. So for a lot of those kids, like, I want to be inspirational to them and give them a message that like I never had, you know, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this and part of the reason why I stream. Like I have like Voff and a couple other people that are in my community that like, yeah, I told them like some of them are down, and I'm like, yeah, I was in a very bad place, and, you know, I learned how to critique myself in a way where I no longer like, it's no longer deconstructive. It's always constructive. I think that that's something where people nowadays don't really have. Which hopefully that'll change, you know?
Right. That kind of goes back to like advice for new streamers.
Mhm.
Don't like because I'm guilty of it. I went in thinking, oh, this is gonna be sweet. I'm gonna be
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna become famous. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna hit live. I'm gonna have like 50 people in there first
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah.
I was like, I was floored, and like I kept my one thing I did really quickly. Sorry.
No, you're good.
One thing I did in the beginning, I found myself like getting really upset after
Mhm.
streams. Like I have my viewer count up, and I'm like 0, 1, and 2, maybe
Mhm.
3 before I got affiliated.
Mhm.
And it's like I would get bent out of shape. And I was like physically angry.
Yeah.
And like like my whole demeanor just changed. So I was like, how can I switch this up? And I was like, so I hid my viewer count for the longest time. I was like, whenever somebody comes in, like I'm gonna pretend there's people there, but I won't know for sure unless they chat. So that's like a big thing that helped me, especially starting out. Like you're a small fish in like the ocean.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
yeah.
Unless you get recommended, not a lot of people are gonna scroll all the way down to the bottom or filter concurrent viewers to find you. So,
Yeah.
I like yeah. So just not getting bent. Don't focus on numbers.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it. Is
Yeah.
basically what I'm saying.
I think that that's something that I've changed. So I did that right in the beginning where like I turned my number off, which was like a huge thing to me.
Yeah.
I completely turned off what my viewer count was and stuff like that, and I had turned on. Just recently, I turned it on.
Same. Yeah.
And I did that to see, because now I feel like I'm at a point where I need to see what works and what doesn't work. And me having that viewer count, I can see when it fluctuates. I used to wait until the stream was over and then I would look at it. But now, like, I kind of want to see it in time and see what things I'm doing that is losing people and what things are like have a lot of people.
Exactly,
like
dude. Same. That was my exact reason. I'm like, I want to see what works at what different time, you know? So, wow.
But, and now, now things are different, but that's all about, at first you want to feel comfortable in front of the camera. And I think that that's, when you take the viewership away, you become more comfortable because you're not worried about seeing how many people are there and you're just kind of yourself. Which is like a huge thing for me, at least. And, so that's, I would say that's one of my big, actually Falcon Elite, which I don't know. Do you know who Falcon is or not? I mean, he's been part of my channel and stuff like that, but
I've seen him chat, but I don't personally, I've never talked to him.
So he's a streamer. He streams like a lot of different games. He streams Sea of Thieves mostly. And, he was actually my first Meet the Streamer. Like, you're episode 10, he was episode 1. And that was 3 months. That was, he told me, he gave me that advice that that's what he does. Even to this day. And he's been streaming for a little over 2 years. And he still does that. And, just recently I had a conversation with him where I was like, I can't do that anymore because I'm very number oriented. But it's because I feel very in control in front of the camera now.
Yeah.
Which didn't think that was going to ever be a thing, but I am more comfortable in front of the camera than I am not. Like, I feel the same now in front of the camera as I do off the camera versus before I would get nervous turning on the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that just comes with time. Everybody's going to be different. Like, I don't expect anybody to have that in 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that to this day, they talk about how, like, Tim the Tatman said it was like 4 or 5 years before he was comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely, it's to each individual person. I think if you're more extroverted, then it's probably going to be easier for you to be more comfortable, but I don't think it has anything. I feel like there's a lot to it. There's a lot more to it than just that. So, well, dude, I appreciate you for real. I'm sorry
Likewise.
for the technical issues. I it bugs the shit out of me. I still have it recorded. It'll still be going on Spotify and it'll be on YouTube on Tuesday. Actually,
Okay.
your video will be up on Wednesday. Because I'm trying to get videos cycled. But it'll definitely be at Spotify tomorrow. So I'll hit you up with the links and stuff like that.
Okay.
That way you can use it. But dude, it was for real a pleasure, and we have to
Yeah, it was-
actually play together, dude. Like that's
I
got
agree.
to do.
100%.
Hopefully the next time we do this, I won't have as many issues because my internet will be fixed, and hopefully I get the rest of it fixed. But yeah, dude, it was a pleasure for real.
Likewise, dude.
So,
I appreciate you for having me on.
anytime. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna roll this real quick.